How does that look? Okay, let's just assume it works. All right, everyone, it's Suey here. I'm bringing you to the basement book corner, because it's been a while, to do a tag called the high school required reading tag, I think it is. High school required reading. Yes, this is originally created by Nicole at Noteworthy Fiction, and I was tagged by Katrina at Ms. Peepers. And it's been a while, so I'm a little slow, but you know. This one seemed really fun to revisit high school days, and I absolutely loved reading in high school, so I thought it would be really fun to answer some of these questions. But before I actually answer the questions, I just now went and looked in my files because I kind of save everything. I save a lot of stuff from school. I knew I had this folder that my high school teachers put together. This one actually started in 10th grade, and I'm going to count 9th grade for this, for answering the questions on this tag, I think, too. But my teachers, they had this folder that would get passed along every year to the other teachers, and then we would put in all the essays we wrote and etc. I don't know if there's tests or what's in here, but everything we did for the 3 years, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And inside of the cover here is all the books I read those years, I think. Yes. I was thinking maybe it was like a reading list, and I was hoping, I know I've saved reading lists, but I don't think it's in this folder. It's probably in some other book list folder. Anyway, all my grades are on here for all these different things. It would be kind of fun to go through all this, but I'm not going to do all of that in this video. I just wanted to show you that I actually have a record of what I read. This will maybe help me remember some of the books so I can answer the questions. Anyway, let's just go for it first. These are the prompts. The first one is high school crush. Name a book you were assigned in high school and loved at the time. And actually loved at the time. Not like in hindsight, I'm guessing. And have you reread it and did it hold up? Since I pretty much loved everything, this one's really hard. And I have lots of memories about books that I absolutely became obsessed with as a teenager. The first one that I thought of was how I became obsessed with Thomas Hardy books. And I know that in one of these classes, she gave us a list of authors, and then we had to choose an author and read several books by the same author and like contrast and compare or whatever. Anyways, so I did Thomas Hardy, and I can't remember exactly which books I read for that assignment, except I could look on there, but except that I do remember reading Tess of the D'Urbervilles. And I have 2 copies of them. I don't know why. I don't think that these were the books that I read in high school. I don't know what book I actually read, or if I just had it from the library or whatever, but I ended up with 2 copies of it. And I just remember loving the angst of it and the tragedy and the heartbreak and all the emotion that you get from a Thomas Hardy book. I don't think I've actually reread it to answer that question, and if it would hold up if I reread it. Here's some others. I have Far from the Madding Crowd, Return of the Native, and then there's Mayor of Casterbridge, which I remember reading, loving all of those. And I know some people probably aren't big, huge fans of Thomas Hardy, but I fell in love hard. So that's one that I would answer that question with. In 9th grade, we read A Tale of Two Cities and dissected that one, sentence by sentence practically. I also have 2 copies of it. Tale of Two Cities. At the time, I don't know if I actually loved it in 9th grade, but I think I grew to love it after we dissected it so much. And then I think I don't remember if it was in 9th grade. I'm assuming it was. We watched the movie, the PBS movie of it that has, what's his face, playing Sidney Carton and Charles Darnay. What's that guy's name? Christopher Sarandon? It's the same guy who did Prince Humperdinck and The Princess Bride. That guy played the lead in Tale of Two Cities, and he was amazing. And I thought it was so cool. And so, anyways, I've ended up with 2 copies of these. This one actually comes from the Shakespeare and Company. little Shakespeare and Company store in Paris, and I thought it was amazing to buy A Tale of Two Cities from that store, since that's the area where this took place, and also Les Mis took place there. I think I might have gotten Les Mis the second time I went there. So I absolutely love this book now. I can't remember exactly how I felt about it then. I feel like I did. I feel like I fell in love with it pretty fast. Tale of Two Cities I have reread over and over again, and it is definitely held up. I think I love it more and more every time I read it. So, gym class. Name a book you were assigned that you hated. Have or would you give it a second chance? The first one that came to mind on this one is The Heart of Darkness. What year did I read that? It looks like, and this, I have The Secret Share on here. So was it The Secret Share I read, or The Heart of Darkness, or was it both? I think it was The Heart of Darkness, because it's marked. These books are from high school, and it must have been in 12th grade, because there's 2 copies of this. That's because my husband and I were in the 12th grade class together. So we both have a copy of this book with our markings in it. And I really did not appreciate this book much. It did not make any sense to me at all. I couldn't understand what was going on. It was just weird. Thankfully, it was little and short, but this is the one that comes to mind of one I hated. But I can't really, I hate using hated, because I never really hated anything I was reading. And even in school, I just didn't appreciate this one quite so much, if that makes sense. Locker combo. Is there a book you remember having to read but can't actually remember? Well, I mean, here's the list. Let's just look at it real quick. I had to read many things. Main Street. I don't remember that one. Lots of plays. A Raisin in the Sun. I don't remember that one very well. The Old Man and the Sea. I read by Ernest Hemingway. That's the one I actually wrote down. I don't really remember that one. That one was kind of hard for me. The Hedda Gabler and Tartuffe. I don't even know if those are books or plays. I feel like they're plays. No, are they books? Okay, see, I don't even remember what they are, so that counts. Okay, I should clarify here that high school was literally 41 years ago for me. So I expect everyone to understand that I pretty much have forgotten everything I read in high school. There are some things that stick out, and there are some memories and emotions that stick out, but the actual book itself, iffy on most of them, probably. Oh yeah, I have The Secret Share in the sophomore year and Heart of Darkness in the senior year. All right, but there's so many books I read that I absolutely fell in love with, reading them for the first time. The Grapes of Wrath, Wuthering Heights, loved. Okay, but that was a different prompt. What is number 4? CliffNotes. Was there a book you were supposed to read but didn't? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why would I skip reading a book? I loved it. It was the best thing ever. Sometimes I struggled with some books, but I loved it. And when we got new assignments to read books, I would be so excited. And when we got a paper that I think I mentioned in the video I posted most recently, it's about a book list that a guy used in his YA Lit class over all these many years, and his assignment was to pick from all the decades. And I kept thinking that would be so fun. So I was like that in school, where if they gave us a big list and said, pick from this list, and I would be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I have so many choices and I want to read them all. So yeah, I'd never skipped out on reading stuff. That was just, I don't even know why you would do that. Electives. Did you read just for fun? And what books were you reading outside of your assignments? So I did. I'm sure I did. I don't know if I did it so much in school because I was pretty busy with lots of things. But maybe in the summer, I would read a ton. And I wish so bad I would have kept track of all the things I read that many years ago. But I do remember around this time falling in love with Phyllis A. Whitney books. I don't know if I have any. I do have a couple. Phyllis A. Whitney books. They all blend together in my head, so I couldn't tell you if I have read these and what they were about, but I loved them. and also Mary Stewart books. I was hoping maybe I had a Mary Stewart book, but I can't seem to find it. Those were the Arthur trilogy, especially Crystal Cave. I think a lot of people are familiar with that. And I can't really remember what else. My Anya Seton phase came a little bit after high school. I don't know what else I was reading. But I'm sure I was reading something. I can't remember. I wish so bad I would have kept track. But I was reading all summer long for sure. Sometimes we would get assigned a book to read over the summer. In fact, that book might be coming up. So I'll talk about it in a second. Let's see, maybe it's the next one. Rebound. What book would you replace from the typical assigned reading list? I don't have an answer for this one. I'm guessing something that I thought shouldn't be on my list. What book would I replace? I just feel like they all have their place back in the day even. I'm sure there's something in here that could be updated a little bit, but I just feel like I just really think they're all fine. They're all good. Teacher's Pet. What book got you excited about reading for class? And this is another one where I just wanted to say I was always excited about reading. And I don't know if there's a particular book. Like I said before, probably The Scarlet Letter got me excited in 10th grade. And then I was just in it for the long haul after that. I know that book is rough, but I don't know, I fell in love. When I was in 8th grade, this is not high school, I think I've told this story before, I read a Charles Dickens book. I was reading this exact copy in 8th grade, and I didn't understand a word of it. But then since then, I've read it several times, I think at least twice, and loved. So maybe this book got me excited, even though I didn't understand it. I don't know. We didn't do it as a class. I did this as my free reading. Crazy. I'm crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. Study hall. What was the most difficult book you read in high school, or the one you spent the most time studying? So for this one, I would say Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. This is the book that we were assigned to read over the summer break for when we came into our AP class in our senior year of high school. By the time we all got there, we had read it and we just jumped right into studying it and dissecting it like crazy. And we studied it all year long pretty much and learned every single bit of it. And then the reason we did that was so that we could use this book to answer the essay question on our AP test at the end of the year, which I did. I mean, I don't think you had to use this book, but our teacher felt like if we knew it inside and out, we could answer any question using this book. I really learned it really well, but guess what? I don't really remember it now. Surprise! Anyway, this is the actual book I got. Bought it at the little store at this high school and loved it all summer long. Actually, I kept really good journals back then. I should go read my journal and see if I actually truly loved it as in a summer assignment. I was probably stressed. Nails on a chalkboard. What was the book that made you groan when you found out you'd have to read it again? I don't remember any duplicates of books I had to read over again. Like I said, our teachers were pretty coordinated and probably made sure that didn't happen, especially once we were in actual high school. So I don't really remember any duplicates. And would I have even groaned? I might have a little bit, just for the fact that it just meant that I wouldn't get an experience another book that I hadn't read yet. You know what I mean? Extra credit. What book do you think should be added to every high school reading list? I've always felt like my favorite author, Marcus Zusak, his book, The Book Thief, I feel like could totally be a high school required reading book. Talks so deeply about World War II and just a different perspective from what most people think about. So gut-wrenching, and it just makes you truly feel what those people went through on both sides. That's my answer for that one. The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. And the final question is tag people, of course. BFFs tag people. I will tag some of mine down below. I think many people have done this already, but just in case, I'll tag you and let's hear what your experience was with reading in high school. I felt like I was going to say so much more about this subject, but now I can't remember what it was. I just wanted to gush about how much I loved reading in high school and enjoyed all these things and enjoyed talking about them and discussing them and dissecting them with the teachers. And it was just kind of like the best. So a lot of people look back on high school and say they wouldn't want to go back, but I had a really great time in high school. And part of that was my English classes and reading all these great books. So much fun. That's it for today. And so until next time, happy reading. Bye.